I know the Mustang Mach-E's kind of been hit or miss for a lot of you. Some of you love it, some of you hate it, but this particular one has 1,400 horsepower. That's impressive no matter how you look at it. Welcome back to Automotive Antics. As always, I'm Kevin. Thank you so much for tuning in. And before I get started on this video, as always, do me this huge favor. Drop a like on the video. It helps me out a lot. I do greatly appreciate it. And if by the end of this video you enjoy what you see, consider hitting that subscribe button and the bell notification so you know when those new videos drop. Now, let's get into the video at hand. The Mach-E 1400, which is obviously for 1,400 horsepower. This is a prototype. It is not a production vehicle, but I think it's relevant because some of this technology could roll into the aftermarket for this kind of electric vehicle, whether it be specifically the Mach-E or, you know, other vehicles in the near future. But obviously everyone says electric cars are the future, and they probably are. But seeing what they've done with this, it kind of gives hope for what aftermarket upgrades you could do to an electric vehicle like this. So let's see how they got that 1,400 horsepower to begin with. In order to get the 1,400 horsepower, the Mach-E has 7 motors from Yaza. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right. We're going to say Yaza. 7 pancake style Yaza P400R series engines. Each one is rated at 214 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque at 700 volts. Now, add 7 of these together, you get an equivalent of just under 1,500 total horsepower and 1,900 pound-feet of torque. Now, obviously, that is slightly lower than if you combined all those numbers together, so Ford might be running them at a lower voltage rating, or they're just underrating the total output altogether. Not 100% sure. But either way, we have in the ballpark 1,400 to 1,500 and 1,900 pound-feet of torque, which is absolutely insane. Now, thanks to electronic drive mode system, you can go either front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, or all-wheel drive. Now, what makes this interesting is obviously if you go rear-wheel drive only, you're going to have a much greater turning angle for the front tires for particularly drifting, because that's what this was built for. Where if you go all-wheel drive, your turning radius isn't going to be quite as tight due to the axles. Now, with 7 electric motors, they are going to produce a lot of heat, so they have multiple radiators with front and rear with dual fans to try to keep all that temperature down. Now, again, this car was set up for drifting purposes only, so it's pretty much a gutted interior with a cage and some race seats, but it did keep that big tablet screen in the center, which is going to help select through your modes, your setups, and all that other stuff. Now, the splitters in the front, the massive wing in the back, and all the other aero around it is very much functional. That will produce 2,300 pounds of downforce at 160 miles per hour. Now, this Mach-E means business, but what does a 1,400 horsepower Mach-E sound like? Well, kind of like a Banshee scream. What do you think it sounds like? Now, obviously, that sound's not going to be for everybody, so let me know down in the comments below if it's for you or if it's not. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this is a prototype drift car that is not going to make production in any way, shape, or form, but I think it's significant because I believe some of this could carry over to the aftermarket. If you have any interest in a Mach-E or any other electric car, this could be interesting because maybe, just maybe, some of these motors could be upgraded for more power, more torque, or maybe the software could be updated for even more power. I know Tesla has done that in the past where you've been able to upgrade your software online and gotten more power out of it. Maybe you could do that with the Mach-E, or maybe you can switch out the motors. I don't know, but I figured that is a very good possibility. Someone somewhere is eventually going to have to come out with things like this in the aftermarket for upgrades. It's pretty obvious already. The body kit can be done. The splitters are going to be done. The rear wing is there. I mean, again, all that's going to be personal taste, what you want your vehicle to look like. But I think a lot of that is also going to carry over to the aftermarket. Now, if the Mach E does end up being as fun to drive as Ford claims it's going to be, because they're making claims that it's going to be as fun as a Mustang GT, which is kind of far-fetched, but we'll see. If it is that much fun, then their aftermarket will end up exploding. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. But it all depends on if you're into that kind of thing. If you're into the electric cars and modifying them, clearly it can make a ton of power. So let's start filling up the comments down below what you think of the Mach E 1400, and if any of this does transfer over to the aftermarket for the production Mach E, would you do anything like this to it? If you made it this far in the video, I do greatly appreciate it. Make sure you drop a like on the video, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll catch you on the next upload.